Hi everyone, welcome to this month's masterclass, and it's on understanding and controlling anger and frustration. I know it seems a funny one around Christmas, but it can boil up around this time, and especially this year with a lot of restrictions in some of the countries. There's a lot of anger and frustration with people and how they're reacting and how they're dealing with the restrictions we're having. There's also a lot of anger and frustration with family of who we should see and shouldn't see if there's restrictions. So there's a lot of arguments going around. And there's also just generally a lot of tension around this time. So I thought it was a good one for us to just stop for a minute and think about what we're doing or how someone else is dealing with it and how we should react to it. So let's get started. I'm just going to share my PowerPoint with you. And here we go. Right. So understanding and controlling anger and frustration masterclass. It's going to be about 20 minutes, 30 minutes, because I don't want to take up too much of your time. So have you ever thought how anger and frustration affects you? I love this quote by Buddha. Holding on to anger is like grasping hot coal that you intend to throw at someone else. You're the one who gets burnt. So by the end of this masterclass, you're going to understand anger, frustration, and have a few simple steps that you can do to help control it. Why is it so important to take these steps? Well, you will end up having a clearer, calmer mind, which means then you end up having a happier day. The people around you enjoy your company more. And if you don't take these steps by carrying negative emotions, they start to build up inside us, and they become physical problems. So I've broken the masterclass down, and we're gonna, what is anger and frustration? How does it affect us? How does it affect the people around us? And what can I do? What is anger and frustration? Anger is holding on to old hurts or something that's happened that we no longer need. This boils over into other parts of our lives. And then we're finding that we're angry at everything. You're holding on to something that's building and building, and then something small that happens becomes a bigger problem. You could be angry about something that's happened in your past, and the next minute you're screaming at somebody because they pulled out in front of you in the car. Frustration is wanting something to be different than it is. As in, my way is right and your way is wrong, and you needing to control that situation. So the frustration then builds inside. So how does it affect us? When we're blinded by anger, we start making poor choices that we regret later. As the quote said, we're the ones that end up getting burnt. When we carry anger and frustration around with us, it ends up completely ruining our day because it fills our mind and we miss out on the good stuff. Or if it's someone else's anger that they've lashed out at you and then you start to get frustrated, we're carrying someone else's stuff, and again it ruins our day. So how does it affect the people around you? Well, when you're angry a lot, and especially when it builds and builds and builds, the people around us start to feel really uncomfortable. They're not enjoying our company. they're walking on eggshells, waiting for you to explode, or they're constantly trying to make you happy. We're also betraying to the people that we love that they can't make us happy, even if it's not them that we're angry at. If we're coming home being angry and holding on to the anger from something that's happened in the day, either with your boss or a colleague, nobody minds us expressing what happened in our day. But then if you're just angry all day and stomping around and nothing's good enough, you're actually telling those people that you love and you're with that you can't let go of any of that and enjoy their company. So you're telling them that they can't make you happy. When you're frustrated all the time, again, people start to feel really uncomfortable around you. And people stop wanting to socialize with you because all they hear is negativity coming out of your mouth. And we're telling the people we're frustrated with that they're not good enough and they're wrong. And it depends on who that person is. Is this how we really want to make them feel? Especially if it's our child or our children. When we're frustrated that they haven't done something all the time, they start to believe that they can't do anything right and they're not good enough. And this even happens with our partners. So what can we do? Yeah, I know we've heard it all before. Take a deep breath. But there is times we do need to just breathe. No matter how hurt, angry or frustrated we are, we don't need to always retaliate or have the last word. The world's become very easy at firing back, especially nowadays. We can fire back some anger, especially if it's writing on the internet or if it's a text or an email, because there's nobody face to face there. And when you've done that a lot, it becomes very easy to do it face to face, to react and not think. But when we are doing that, are we reacting with a clear head? Do we need to react at all? Having the last word and always being right, we actually start to lose the good memories because they're filled with so much negativity. And it becomes more of an issue to be right or have the last word, that we're just losing all the positive memories. So here's 7 steps to help you let go of frustration and anger. I'm not going to read them in order because there's a few that have really, really resonated with me in the past, and I've actually seen masses of improvement in my own life when I've taken these steps. So if we're just trying to control anger or frustration on a general basis, getting out and doing some exercise really helps reduce the stress, which can cause the anger. When we're feeling angry and it's escalating, if we get out and we have a brisk walk or a run, or spend some time doing some other thing that we enjoy physically, usually doing something more where the heart's a little bit racing, we then work through that anger because it's the adrenaline as well. We need to keep that adrenaline pumping. Because then when we finished exercising, we naturally come down, which helps us then to think calm. We've burnt through the anger instead of verbally burning out the anger. Trying to meditate when you're actually angry is really hard. Some people can do it, but generally it is really hard to focus because you keep going back to the anger. That's why if you go and do something quite physical, you burn through it and then you can calm. Then you can, if you want to, later when you're calmer, take some time to reflect. Taking time out is not just for kids. Giving yourself a short break and taking a bit of time out in the day when it's especially quite stressful, it just really helps us stop and calmly rethink things. The quiet times might help you feel a little bit better prepared for what you need to go into, instead of running in being stressed and frustrated and becoming angry. When the head's a bit clearer, we can sort of dissipate the irritation and the anger. This can be a hard one, but a really, really important one. Don't hold a grudge. Forgiveness is an amazing, powerful tool. If you allow anger and other negative feelings crowd our positive feelings, you might find yourself swallowed up by this, and your own bitterness and sense of injustice just overtakes everything, and everything you think of becomes about this. But if you forgive someone who's angered you, you might both learn from the situation and even strengthen the relationship. And even if it's not to be strengthen the relationship, but you've let go and forgiven, you let go of that whole negativity around that situation. And like we said earlier, we end up losing any positive, good memories because we're engrossed in that lack of forgiveness. The other four are huge, and when you put them together, this can be a massive change. Think before you speak. It sounds easy and we don't always, excuse me. Just taking that breath and think, because in the heat of the moment, it's always easy to say something that you're going to later regret. Take a few moments to collect your thoughts before saying anything, and allow the others involved to do the same. And that even gives them a chance to think about what's going on before they react. When we react instantly, it's our guard gone up and we say something, and then their guard goes up because you've said something a little bit harsh. When you take the breath, even though it's about you calming, you calm both people down. Because when the other one's not fighting back, there's no fight. So it helps everybody. Once you're calm, then express your anger. But you need to express that very clearly and directly. This is out being nasty. We don't want to hurt or control anyone. We just need to express ourselves. So then this one actually then links in with number 6. And that's sticking with the I statement. To avoid criticizing and placing blame, which only increases the attention. If we use the I statement to describe a problem, be more respectful. So a good way of doing it is saying, I'm upset that you left the table without offering to help do the dishes. Instead of going, you never do the housework, because you put blame. If you're saying, I'm upset because of, it's looked on a very different way. When we're attacked, our adrenaline kicks in, and the brain then goes in to react and fight. The fight or flight just makes us go rah and fight back. When we've started the conversation saying, I find this really hard. It upsets me, or I feel hurt. You can even say, I know you don't mean, but when you actually do this, I get this feeling. It makes me feel. So then it's a discussion. It's not an argument. We're discussing how things is making someone else feel. So then they can stop and reflect and have a bit of respect for them to process what you're saying. Don't expect an instant answer. And then if we go into number 5 and identify a positive solution, instead of focusing on what made you mad, work on resolving the issue at hand. Does the child's messy room drive you crazy? Close the door. Is your partner late for dinner every night? Then schedule the meal later in the evening, or agree to eat on your own or with the kids a few nights a week. They're just simple examples. But if we're wanting it to be something it can't be, we're constantly going to be frustrated. By moving boundaries and working together, we end up having a calmer and easier life. When we're dealing with someone else that's angry and shouting and everything, it's really, really easy to fight back. But again, if you take a breath, stay calm and collective, just breathe for 30 seconds and remember it's their anger, not yours. It's easier to deal with. When we fight back and demand, what is your problem? We're actually spending a lot more time with the unhappy person. And that is then what makes us more frustrated and feeling that they've ruined our day, and then the cycle goes on. Leaving the room before the bridge is burnt is a sign of maturity, not weakness. So let's just summarize what we've gone over in the masterclass today. When we're blinded by anger, we make poor choices that we can later regret. We are the ones that get burnt. When we carry anger and frustration around with us, it ruins our day. The negative fills the mind and we miss out on all the good stuff. So why is it important to control our anger and frustration? Our mind will be clear and calm so we can have a happier day. The people around us will enjoy our company more. Letting go of the negative emotions will help prevent physical problems. So let's just have a bit of a quiz. I like to end with a quiz. So what is anger and frustration? Well, anger is holding on to old hurts or something that has happened that is no longer needed. Frustration is wanting something to be different than it is. My way is right, your way is wrong. The need to control. Question 2. Name 3 of the 7 steps that resonated with you most, that can help you let go of any frustration and anger you might have. If you're wanting to and you want to share how you're feeling or anything that the ones that really resonated with you, Please put them in the comments below under the video. That would be great, so we can have some feedback. It'd be lovely to know what you're thinking of the masterclasses. So here's the 7. Think before you speak. Once calm, express your anger. Get some exercise. Take time out when you feel it's building. Identify a positive solution. Stick with the I statement. Don't hold a grudge. My 3 are: once calm, express your anger and frustration. Stick to the I statement and identify a possible solution. They have been brilliant for me in my life, and I really do recommend, if you haven't worked on any of them, to try some of those ones. And by having the last word and being right, what do we lose? Good memories, because our mind will stay focused on the argument and the negative. So just before I go, I want you to remember, anger doesn't solve anything. It builds nothing, but it can destroy everything. I hope you got a lot out of this class this month. Like I said before, just put any comments underneath the video. I'd love to have some feedback. I know you're all watching because I can see when you tap into it, but some feedback would be great. Please do let me know which ones resonated with you most and anything else. And if you have any other questions, please put them in the comments below and I will answer as soon as I see them. Take care. Bye.